right, so the winner of last week's giveaway, picked at random by some internet YouTube comment picker thing, is Taylor Clanton. Taylor, reach out to info@tenicor.com and we will get you hooked up.
Speed is not actually important. What is important is position, is gaining a position of advantage, and then deliberately and consistently drawing your gun to the correct location. Let me throw this at you about the draw from a either domestic law enforcement or private citizen concealed carry perspective. I definitely do not argue at all that it's not important, because I think it is important. It is part of a well-rounded shooter should have a very consistent and deliberate draw stroke that they should be able to execute under pressure subconsciously. However, I would argue that it is a less than 1% relevant skill. I have drawn my gun in a real world situation hundreds and hundreds of times. Right? I have never drawn my gun in a real world situation to immediately fire it, right? If you think you need a gun, like as a police officer or even as a private citizen, you're going to draw your gun to the ready. Think you need a gun, you get a gun in your hand. The idea that something's going to happen and you need to quickly draw your gun and engage that target, that is a less than 1% event. The more likely situation that you are in the middle of a fight and you need to draw your gun from the holster and shoot somebody would be in a contact would be in a contact distance confrontation. And in that situation, speed is not actually important. What is important is position, is gaining a position of advantage, and then deliberately and consistently drawing your gun to the correct location.
And knowing how not to shoot yourself and not get your gun taken away.
And so the idea of a fast draw, a robust draw, is vastly more important than a fast draw. But I do practice it because it is a way to pressure test your skill set, right? You can add the speed component, it pressure tests your skill set. Do you have it determines whether your skill set is robust or not. And I believe that is much more important. But for whatever reason, well, I guess the reason is it doesn't sell classes. And so that's why people don't emphasize that aspect of things.
Well, and I think a lot of times too, people are just, I think that what you just said is a very mature understanding of using a pistol, right? And I think that you probably always didn't think that way.
Right. Correct.
Right? You saw somebody do something super crazy fast and you were like, dang, I'm trying to do that. You know, like that seems like I would want to be able to do that, you know? Because like, what is detrimental about being as fast as possible? The answer is nothing, but there's more context to that that people just don't. And man, I can't make you believe it or make you understand it. I can just wait on you, you know, waiting on you to get to that level of maturity that where you understand it ain't the one thing, man. It's never, and that's I've been trying to preach that nationwide for the past year, man. People get wrapped around the axle about trying to police people on the internet. You know, Dave Ramsey says people are broke today because they are spending money they don't have on crap they don't need to impress people they don't even know. And,
so 1 second draw.
Yeah, and that's the same exact thing. Like nobody truly on the internet cares as much as you do. You just think they care that much. And did you know that if you can do a sub 1 second draw, you are not the first man ever to accomplish this? You are now among multiple men that can accomplish this. And so nobody remembers you for that. Like, so what?
I mean, it's part of that is shooting and taking classes is kind of like some people's golf, right? Where it's like, there is a practical component to it, but it is mostly a recreation thing, right? So in the context of going and recreating in that activity, there's little milestones that people are trying to get to, right? It speaks like coins and patches and qualifications and like all of those tests and whatnot. I mean, they're part of that. It's like, you know, did you go play that fancy course and did you shoot at your certain score? It's the same kind of thing. Did you go to that fancy shooting course and did you shoot a certain score? And people are in pursuit of that rather than, and I'm not at all saying there's something wrong with that, right? That is like, we live in America and people have the right to do whatever they want.
And it's cool
And
too, right?
it is cool.
It's cool to go
It's super
accomplish
fun.
that, right?
Yes,
Like, that's
and
neat.
100%. Like I have been the person. Like I've spent a lot of money on. Like I've spent a lot of money on training. I started taking classes long before it was a cool thing to do, because I thought it was a cool thing to do. Yeah.
Super cool. All right. Well, that's that.
Okay.
Appreciate the heck out of you.
That's it for this week. Drop a comment down below on how important you think draw speed is. Draw speed versus consistency, robustness, reliability. Let us know. Make it productive. Make it interesting for everybody else. And we'll pick someone at random, and you will get some cool Tenicor merch, maybe a belt, maybe a holster. Your choice. We'll see you guys next week.